Malaysia to raise plight of Rohingya at D8 summit. White supremacist faces barrage of protest at Florida speech. Good afternoon, I'm Zala Karin Ismail and you're watching News on 2. Former Rural and Regional Development Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Shafie Apdal was detained by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC yesterday to assist investigations into the alleged embezzlement of funds involving some 180 million ringgit for rural projects in Sabah. Datuk Seri Muhammad Shafie, 60, was detained at 9 p.m. after he came to the Sabah MACC office to give his statement on the case. The Sampurna Member of Parliament arrived at the MACC office at 5:15 p.m. MACC Deputy Chief Commissioner of Operations, Datuk Seri Azam Baki, when contacted, confirmed the detainment but refused further comment. Meanwhile, a civil engineer who is also a company consultant, Amarjit Singh, was also detained at 2:45 p.m. yesterday after he gave his statement on the case at the Sabah MACC office. The detainment of the former minister and the engineer brought the total number of individuals detained by the MACC in connection with the alleged fund embezzlement case to 11. Two of the individuals were Datuk Seri Muhammad Shafie's younger brothers, Datuk Yusof Apdal, who is Lahad Datuk Assemblyman, and Hamid Apdal. So far, 8 of the individuals have been released on MACC bail. The Attorney General's Chambers AGC has set up a task force over reports made against the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC Chief Tan Sri Zulkifli Ahmad. Attorney General Tan Sri Muhammad Afandi Ali said the task force was formed on Monday to closely monitor the investigations into the alleged offences. The allegations are being investigated under Section 498 of the Penal Code and other related offences. Section 498 refers to enticing a married woman with the intent of having illicit intercourse. Those found guilty face up to 2 years jail, a fine, or both. Tan Sri Afandi in his statement cautioned and reminded all parties from making any comments that can jeopardize the ongoing investigations. Meanwhile, Tan Sri Zulkifli broke his silence on Tuesday, saying he would not allow these dirty tactics to sidetrack him from his fight against graft. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi has reiterated that he would raise the plight of the Rohingyas at the D8 Organisation for Economic Cooperation, or D8 Summit, to get the support of the grouping for the ongoing crisis. He said Malaysia has been consistent in tackling the Rohingya issue, which has been highlighted on the global stage, including by Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak when he met United States President Donald Trump last month. Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid said Malaysia would continue to pressure Myanmar to take responsibility to tackle the issue of Rohingya refugees as called for by the Secretary General of the United Nations.
Real Malaysia cukup jelas dan kita harap Turki yang mempengurusikan negara D8 ini, D8 ini akan cukup mengambil kepedulian terhadap permasalahan di Rohingya.
Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid was speaking to the media upon arrival in Istanbul for the D8 summit. UNICEF says children who make up most of the nearly 600,000 Rohingya who have fled violence in Myanmar are facing a hell on earth in overcrowded, muddy and squalid refugee camps in neighbouring Bangladesh. The UN Children's Agency has issued a report documenting the plight of children, who accounts for 58% of the refugees, before a pledging conference in Geneva to drum up international funding. Report author and senior UNICEF communications advisor Simon Ingram says about 1 in 5 children in the area are acutely malnourished.
These children just feel so abandoned, so completely remote and without a means of finding support or help. And in a sense, it's no surprise that they must truly see this place as a hell on earth.
The report features harrowing colour drawings by some children cared for by UNICEF and other 8 groups who are scrambling to improve shelter, nutrition and living conditions in the town of Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh. Some images show helicopter gunships and green-clad men firing on people as blood spews. UNICEF warned on Tuesday that without immediate additional funding, it will not be able to continue providing life-saving aid and protection to Rohingya children. UNICEF said it has received just 7% of the $76 million it needs. The Malaysian Meteorological Department, or Met Malaysia, has urged the public not to believe rumours on the social media that Typhoon Lan will hit the shores of Sabah. Met Malaysia Director General Alui Bahari said Typhoon Lan, which was currently in the east of the Philippines, was expected to move north and would not pass through Sabah, Sarawak and Peninsula. In a statement, Alui Bahari said side effects of the typhoon has caused damp weather with strong winds in the west and north of Sabah and the Federal Territory of Labuan since October 17th and is expected to continue until October 21st. Meanwhile, Typhoon Lan is forecast to grow into a monster storm south of Japan before it weakens on its approach to the island nation next week. According to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center in Hawaii, land-stop winds could reach 222 kilometers per hour on Saturday, which would make it the equivalent of a Category 4 hurricane. The public can obtain valid information from the Malaysian Met website at www.met.gov.my or call 1300-221-638. A female elephant aged around 8 to 10 years was successfully captured by the Pahang State Department of Wildlife and National Parks of Perhilitan in the village area of Batu Leja on 12th of October. The elephant has now been transferred to the National Elephant Conservation Centre, PKGK, in Kuala Gandah, Lanchang. Assisted by 2 female decoy elephants from Perhilitan, the female elephant was moved from the location of capture in Pulau Tawa, Jerantut. Perhilitan State Director Ahmad Azhar Muhammad said the operation began on October 2nd, involving 20 employees of the Perhilitan State Department and the Pahang Perhilitan Elephant Capture Unit. On October 9th, around 8:30 a.m., the team managed to detect a herd of 6 wild elephants scrounging for food in an oil palm plantation in the area of Kampung Bukit Rang, Pulau Tawa, Jerantut.
Yang pertama dapat ni kita pasangkan radio satelit pada dia. Tujuan kita pasang radio satelit ni untuk memudahkan kita menjejaki kumpulan gajah yang berada di kawasan konflik. Setiap hari kita dapat bacaan setiap 4 jam. Dan setiap 4 jam lah kita tahu gajah ni berada di mana. So dengan adanya caller ni, kita dapat terus jejak di waktu pagi di mana gajah tu berada.
The remains of a teenager feared to have drowned while trying to save his younger brother has been found. According to the police, the body of Muhammad Firdaus Abdul Ghani, 18, was found floating on Miami Beach at 7:45 a.m. in Batu Ferringhi, Pulau Pinang, not far from where he was reported missing. According to the Jalan Perak Fire and Rescue Department Chief Ismail Madzain, the search and rescue operation was conducted with several security forces, but they encountered difficulties such as high tides.
Sebab keadaan ni laut tengah bergelora lah, air tengah pasang penuh, menyebabkan kesukaran sebab kawasan yang disyaki lemas tu kawasan yang berbatu-batu. Okay? Jadi membahayakan pada bot dan juga anggota penyelamat lah.
In the incident, Firdaus was enjoying a picnic with his family on the beach about 10:30 a.m. yesterday. About 2 hours later, his younger brother, Muhammad Naim, 15, experienced some difficulty and could be seen waving his hands for help. Their father, Abdul Ghani Saad, 51, swam towards him to help. Firdaus also joined in to help but was swept away by the waves. Police have apprehended 3 members of a highway gang and are hot on the heels of another gang member for robberies committed at the Rest and Service Area R&R di Sungai Dua Toll Plaza in Butterworth. Seberang Perak Utara Police Chief ACP Nurzaini Muhammad Nur said 3 men aged between 24 and 28 were nabbed by a police team by Ops Chantas on October 9th near Sungai Lokan in Butterworth. The 3 men were found to be hardcore criminals involved in drugs and other offences.
So kita telah berjaya menangkap 3 orang suspek, di mana hasil soal siasat ketiga-tiga suspek itu kita telah berjaya menyelesaikan 7 kes samun yang melibatkan hentian rehat dan rawat di sepanjang kawasan Seberang Perak Utara.
ACP Nurzaini said following the arrest of the 3 men, police recovered various items valued at about 50,000 ringgit believed stolen during their robberies. Meanwhile, the Pulau Pinang police has also solved 6 office break-in cases committed by the gang Siling when they detained 2 drug addicts aged 31 and 34 during a raid on October 4th.
So, bertindak di atas maklumat pada 4 bulan 10, jam lebih kurang 10 malam, sepakan polis daripada cawangan D9, IPD SPU dan Balai Polis Batu semasa menjalankan tugas op cantas juga, telah membuat serbuan di sebuah rumah di Kampung Jawa Batu dan telah berjaya menangkap 2 lelaki Melayu yang aktif melakukan pecah rumah dan pecah pejabat di sekitar kawasan Batu Pulau Pinang.
Among the items seized were mobile phones, cameras, laptops and closed-circuit television cameras, CCTV. A drug raid operation in Kedah resulted in the arrest of 21 drug addicts from teenagers to senior citizens. Kedah National Anti-Drug Agency AADK Director Mahzir Elias said the raid was carried out on a drug den area adjacent to the sea near Kampung Kuala Sala. Urine tests revealed that all the drug addicts were positive for opium and methamphetamine. The case is being investigated under Section 3, Subsection 1 of the Treatment and Rehabilitation of Drug Addicts 1983. 4 other individuals were arrested and are being investigated under Section 12, Subsection 2 of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952 for drug possession. Mahathir said the settlement of fishermen in Kuala Kedah and Kuala Sala were among the areas for addicts to get their supply of drugs. Famous Malay film artist of the 1960s, Dato' Abdullah Sani Ahmad, otherwise known as Sony Abdullah, died yesterday at his home in Selayang due to old age. He was 74. His son, Fathur Rosoim Al-Sani Abdullah Sani, said his father's remains were buried in the Muslim cemetery in Bukit Lagong Batu Caves after evening prayers last night. According to Fathur Rosoim, his father had just celebrated his 74th birthday on October 7th, where he was still seen to be healthy and happy. The late actor, survived by 5 children, became famous through films such as Permintaan Terakhir in 1975, Menanti Hari Esok in 1977, and Gadis Langkawi in 1966. Cloud-first strategy to boost Malaysia's digital economy. Story to come. The cloud-first strategy will be introduced in the national agenda, beginning with the public sector, which aims to boost Malaysia's digital economy. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak says the strategy will enable the government to promptly deliver innovative public sector services without incurring high level of capital expenditure to invest in information technology infrastructures such as data centers, servers and storage.
This enables the government to allocate resources for more impactful programs for the rakyat. With this strategy in place, it is without doubt that the government is taking the lead in embracing digital transformation.
Datuk Seri Najib was speaking after chairing the 29th Digital Malaysia Implementation Council meeting, or ICM, in Putrajaya. According to the Prime Minister, the government will also develop a National Artificial Intelligence AI framework, an extension from Big Data Analytics BDA framework, which will be led by the Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation, MDEC. The Malaysian Institute of Economic Research, MIER, expects that the 2018 budget will be focusing on efforts to reduce the rising cost of living. MIER Executive Director Dr. Zakaria Abdul Rashid said these included measures to reduce the tax and distribute cash assistance to select groups.
Members of the household find it difficult to meet their expenditure. So something has got to be done to supplement the household income.
He was speaking at a press conference on the Malaysian economy prospects for the third quarter of this year. In the meantime, MIER has revised its gross domestic product GDP upwards to 5.4% this year, following a better domestic and external demand. The revision is an increase of 0.6% as compared to the July projection of 4.8%. He also predicted a domestic demand increase of 4.8% this year, driven by growth in private and public consumption, which is expected to grow at 6.1% and 1% respectively. Meanwhile, the growth in exports and imports of goods and services are projected to be at 13.4% and 13.6%, predicated by a strong global demand. National men's singles star Lee Chong-wei lost to India's HS Pranoy in 3 sets in the second round of the Denmark Open on Thursday, while South Korean Son Won-ho upset the mainly Danish crowd as he defeated home favourite Anders Antonsen. With a quarter-final berth up for grabs, Indian HS Pranoy knew he had to impress against Chong-wei in the men's singles. And in an entertaining match, Pranoy delivered, beating the 7th seed and twice winner of the tournament 21-17, 11-21, 21-19. In the mixed doubles, Anders Skarp Rasmussen and Lin Højmark Kjærsfeldt went down to the 3rd seeds, Tontowi Ahmad and Liliana Natsir 21-16, 21-14. Ahmad and Natsir through to the quarterfinals. Matthias Christiansen and David Dawaga took on 2nd seeds Marcus Fernaldi Gideon and Kevin Sanjaya Sukamuljo in the men's doubles. And the gulf in class was apparent, 21-14, 21-16, the score as the Indonesians moved through to the quarterfinals. In the women's singles, Bei Wei-Zhang lost to 4th seed Akane Yamaguchi 21-23, 21-15, 21-14. The Japanese star goes through to the quarters. While in another men's singles match, top seed Won-ho Son took on Dane Anders Antonsen. Despite strong backing from a loud home crowd, there was no surprise result. Son moving through to the quarterfinals 20-22, 21-14, 21-18.